Today we're going to use Tinkercad to make a fantastic rocker switch fidget. So let's get cracking. This is Tinkercad.com. It is 100% free and it is the absolute easiest way to learn computer-aided design. All of our designs are stored to the cloud. If you click right here, you can access all your designs. As you can see, you can make designs that are private, you can make them public, and you can also use the fantastic shared link option. Today, though, we're going to build this awesome project. We're going to start by hitting create new 3D design. I like to start by naming it, and we're going to call this rocker switch. As soon as you click down here, the project is saved. It is that easy. Now, if you have not worked with Tinkercad, I've got tons of day one tutorials. You can find them using the playlist up above. We're going to start today's project with the cube. When you bring this out, you can set it wherever you want. I'm going to set it exactly at 0, 0. You can see it fits exactly in that grid. It is a centimeter in every direction. It's got handles you can drag, but I'm going to tell you don't, and I'm going to show you why. If I do Control D, if I drag this handle, see how this says 39? These numbers no longer match. So if you want to use the properties, which we do, never drag the handles. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to make this shape round by giving it a radius of 3. It gives it round corners, steps of 10. It is super slick so that you get awesome rounded designs. When we click back on it, we can adjust to the numbers we need. Our simple numbers are going to be 19, press enter, 33, press enter, and 11, press enter. Notice it snaps to its new rounded version as soon as you're done. We can continue to fiddle. I'm going to just change the radius to 2 because I think I like that better and call that good. Now we're going to reuse this piece by doing Control D to duplicate. I'm going to move it with the mouse. You could also move it with the arrows. If you do Shift arrows, it goes 10 times as far as the snap grid, which is currently set to 1. We're going to cut out the hole in the center of this by making this shape a hole. Later when we group them, it'll cut that out. Now all we have to do is change the numbers on this one. I'm going to choose 14. I'm going to choose 27. I'm going to keep it 11, but I'm going to do a radius of 1. Now we can grab those two shapes. Choose L for align. Click on the red one to make it the boss. And we want it to be centered, and I'm going to leave it at the bottom. Now we can click on our hole. Notice it shows the hole. If you hit the red one, it'll show you've got the red one. So we go back to the hole, and I'm going to raise it up 1 millimeter by doing Control up arrow. Now we can grab those two shapes and do Control G to group them. Bang! We've got the base for our rocker fidget. I'm going to quickly click on it and do Shift nudge to move it a little bit out of our way for the next part of the project. Now it's time to build the awesome rocker switch, and we're going to do that with the sketch tool. When you bring it out, notice I'm setting it in the 0, 0 spot. It is 20 by 20 on a side. If you've never used Sketch before, make sure you check out the Sketch features. All sorts of amazing techniques that you can use to become better as a Tinkercad sketch artist. Make sure you check out the details down here. Of course, watch the animations. When you are done learning, you can always click the X to back out. If you prefer my tutorials, I've got a playlist that you can check out right here. So we're going to build our switch like this. Stretch out to the right 13 millimeters. Notice I started from 0. If you hold Shift, it locks it straight. Then we're going to go up 10. We're going to go back 13. We're going to go 13 more. Once again, holding Shift locks it straight. And then we're going to connect it right here. Next up, we're going to double click. So this lets us see the points. And we're going to hit number 4 to add and adjust some points. The magic number is 4, so we're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here, we're going to go over 4. Notice if you click and hold, it snaps to these points. And now we're going to switch to the 0.5 millimeter mark, and we're going to press V. It's important that you press V so you can go back to grabbing points, otherwise you'll delete them. Now we're going to move this over 1.5, and we're going to move it down 0.5. We're going to move this over 1.5 and down 0.5. snaps into that spot right there. This one comes down 3. This one goes up 3. You can always check these measurements as they happen. We're also going to take this one over and up 1 and over and up 1. Now we can click on this piece and hit number 2 to make it a curve. Click on this and hit number 2 to make it a curve. Notice it keeps the same curve on both sides, and we're going to stick with that. And then finally right here, we're going to click on this dot and hit number 2 to give it a curve as well. This is the rocker switch we're going to use for our project. Right now, I need you to click on it and change its height to 13.8 and press enter. We're going to make holes in this using the cylinder. This is the cylinder hole, so that makes sure it's going to be a hole. And then we're going to shift, stretch, and type 2.1 for the measurement. This is going to be the size of the hole all the way through this. They need to be larger than the 13.8. I did 16, which is going to be fine. We also need to bring out what we're going to call an alignment tube. I'm going to set the wall thickness to 1, and I'm going to set the radius to 18. That way it's larger than our project. And we're going to take these two, and we're going to do L for a line, and we want to make sure they're in the center and center. Now we can grab this shape, and we're only lining it up with the pin. Select it, choose L for a line, the pin is the boss, and I want center, and I'm going to try center. Notice I can see it right here. Make sure I like that. Yes, I do. Now we're going to add the spots that click in. Simply grab your nudge, set it back to 1. Click on this and do Control D, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to click over here, Control D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, this is the part that we're going to print. This is laid out how we need it. But we're also going to do some work for aligning. So right now I want you to do Control D, Shift Nudge, take that one and do Control G, and save it for later when we're actually going to 3D print it. All right, so the trick that makes this slick is these holes are going to be also used as pins. Let's quickly hide this. You can do Control H, grab all 3 and do Control D. Take the second set and make them solids. I'm going to choose a color pink, and I'm also going to lock them. Now when we do Show All, we've got our other parts. We can grab all of these and do Control G to union group them. If we click on these now and hide them, you'll see that there is a hole. We can also use V to hide by just selecting and clicking away. I do not use that enough. Let's quickly hit Show All to bring all the parts back. We do need to unlock these pins. If you Shift select them all, you can do that in a quick snap. Now we can grab this and rearrange it. We want to rotate it 90 degrees to the front. Notice if you stay inside the widget, it's 22.5 degrees. If you hold Shift, it's 45 degrees or 2 clicks. Let's quickly take this part and do Control B just to make it a bundle group. Select them all, do L for a line, make the red one the boss. We want it to be centered. I'm going to look at it from this corner just because it makes it more clear, and we want it to be centered. Now we can click on our shape. It is a bundle group, and we can just raise it up. I'm going to set my nudge to 0.01, and we want to get it to where this lines up right near the top. If we click on the red one and do T for transparent, you can see where our pegs are. And now we can ungroup it. Let me show you why this is so cool. Unbundle. Click on this rotation handle. And we want to get this to lay flat. When you rotate it, notice it is 12 degrees or 11 degrees. You can pick whichever one you want. And then we need to arrange those pins. They're going to be our guides. I'm going to hide the big red piece. I'm going to make sure I click on front view, flat view, and let's click on this one and do F for fit view. Once again, my nudge is 0.1, and I can do Control down to get that so it fits exactly in the hole. Now we're simply going to rotate it the other way. If we do Show All, we can see the red piece again, so now we can easily grab this. And bingo, you can find the -24, which is 12 plus 12, to line that up. Click on our red piece, Control H to hide, click on the little pink guide, and once again, it's Control down. And then I'm going to hit F to fit view so we can get a little closer, and you can see I can go over one, and bingo, Those are now lined up. If we hit show all, I'm going to zoom back and I'm going to get this back to the 12 just because I like it better. And now we're going to build the pegs that these sit on. I'm going to click these two pieces and I'm going to hide them. Control H as well. I'm going to take a cone and I'm going to set it right on this red piece right here. We're going to put in these numbers. 0.8 for the top, 1.1 for the bottom, and we're going to do 0.6 for the height. Leave the sides as they are. I'm going to switch back to perspective view just for this part, and now we're going to do Control D, and I can just shift nudge over. We'll do Control down to get it close. Now I'm going to grab those two, L for align, pink one's the boss. As we zoom in, it's a little easier to see that we want the center. And we already had center that way. Control D, shift nudge the other way. And let's grab those two, choose L for align, double check I do have two. The pink one's got to be the boss, and I've got to have it centered and centered just like that. Real quickly, notice the cones get thinner in this direction, so that means they'll go on the back wall of our shape. I'll show you how this all works right now. We're going to click on this piece and hide it. We're going to click on the work plane and put it right here. Now we can delete these three pink guides. Hide this one. And we can grab those and do D to drop. They're lined up, and I'll show you this on the back of the shape. Once again, hide that one, and there are your pins. The next thing we do is got to put the pins over here. Once again, W for work plane. Grab this and do Control H. Grab these and do Control D. D to drop. And the only problem is we've got to flip them. Bang. One last show all, and with everything aligned, we can now hit delete on that part. The last part we add is a wedge so that it can't push too far down. We're going to simply do that with the green roof. When you click on it, we're going to make this number 6. We're going to make this number 7. And then we're going to make the length 14 and press enter. Shift select this and the red one. L for align. The red one is the boss. Center, center, and of course, bottom. Bang. Parts designed. Now we can select them all and choose export for 3D printing. Simply choose an STL. I'm going to store it in my 3D modeling folder, and we're going to call it Rocket Switch. Of course, now we can bounce to Bamboo Lab Studio, create a brand new object. Of course, we're going to hit add, and I want to find the rocker switch. There it is in 3D modeling. I'm going to choose to print it with 0.2 standard settings and generic PLA. Let's slice plate and check it out. In about 20 minutes, we'll have a brand new rocker switch fidget. How cool is that? And about 20 minutes later, we've got parts for a rocker fidget. All right, so here we are, one of my favorite parts. These print separate, so that means you can print them twice, and we can simply grab them. Do make sure you have them in straight. If you don't push them in straight, it does take a little more effort. You may have to grab pliers, but once you get them pushed in, it flips back and forth just like that. How cool is that? I do want to quickly say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. With any level of support, you get early access to videos. Also, make sure you pay attention for those members-only posts. A massive shout out as well to everybody that supports me via Patreon. We are way past 500 members. It has a fantastic free messaging area where you can ask questions, post designs, gain skills. Of course, you can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe. You're helping HLModTech get just a little bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.